Welcome everybody. This is Rev Games. We are going to have a deck profile and a bit of gameplay with a deck I have played about a half a dozen games with so far, that being Ritual Chaos. So here's the list. It's a rough draft. I mean, there are a few questionable choices, but I'll kind of run through it somewhat quickly, card by card. Chaos Engine, Discard Engine. Here's where things are a little bit spicy. This is a Ritual Chaos Engine popularized, or at least, I don't know if identified, but probably popularized via a few videos with ACP. He was originally running it with Zork, and I don't remember what the ritual spell is with Zork, but we're running it with Relinquished and Black Illusion Ritual. If you're not familiar, really the idea behind this is, normal summon, get one, and you're going to be using that as discard fodder for some of your other discard traps or discard cards like Break, like Tribe, like Charity, and we're playing the card Destruction, which I think is very necessary in a deck like this, which I'll get into in a second. And that's Light plus Dark, which gets your Chaos live. And then worst case scenario, you are running Black Illusion Ritual, which, Relinquished really isn't like a bad card. It's actually quite good. It does give you another out to either beaters when it comes to Warrior, or face downs if you get a read on something that you can't let resolve, like a Faith. So it's when I've resolved Relinquished, I've always been happy. It's not as good as Thousand Eyes Restrict, but it's also not as restrictive, no pun intended. And it allows you to kind of continue playing the game. I did throw DD Warrior Lady in here. Um, really just to have another beater. Kind of the idea I was going with this deck was to just not have any flip monsters whatsoever in it, which is why we're on Zombiras as well, and then hitting them with the 1-2 punch with Magician of Faith. I also was considering Spies in the side to side in a flip package. I just don't know. I feel like you just have to dedicate so much of your side deck space to do that, and like game 2 and 3 are basically gutting out this whole package and like trying to catch your opponent off guard if they're gonna like side out Nox and not side in Mind Cons. That I just don't know if that's good enough yet. DD Warrior Lady I think is just like a great, you know, all around good card. It hardly ever, goes negative. It deals with stuff like Sangan or your random recruiter. It can even out like really big stuff. It pokes whenever you need to. So it's a really good card. If we could run more, we probably would in a build like this. Next is Zombira. This I'm not 100% on, and I'll explain why, which is for a deck like, and this was inspired by a few players that are either putting this in the side or um, like Anthony Alvarado had 3 in his main deck, and that was in a Chaos Turbo build. That might make a little bit more sense in that type of build, because really what you're kind of trying to do with traditional Chaos Turbo is accumulate enough resources and then strategically push for game and just wind down enough resources until you win. Zombira the Dark really helps with your warrior matchup. In this type of deck, we're basically just normal summoning everything, and our real advantage engine, if you want to call it that, is just Manju and the typical discard stuff. We're really not going to be able to get crazy pluses off like Decoichis and Spies and, of course, Magician of Faith to recycle Trinity. So I don't know quite yet if this fits into what we're going for here. I've been very unimpressed with this so far. It's, I've had a few games where it serves its intended purpose, which is just beating over something that's big or just walling, like I summon it and just don't attack. But the longer you wait with a deck like this, I'm really not sure the better. Uh, we kind of need to get Chaos down a little bit more quickly than I think Turbo does. You really need to start poking with stuff like Manju and DD Warrior Ladies and maybe the breaker at points, or even the tribe. So where I'm leaning at this point is probably just having Kaiku in here. And I was thinking this is just a lot better versus Warrior, and this deck very well could struggle versus Warrior, even more so than Chaos Turbo, because it's not like you can just wall with Spy. And with this deck, like really, like this was meant to be the Spy replacement, but I'm just really not sure if that's smart yet. So enough said on that. Well, I guess there was one other thing I wanted to say. This would be better versus Chaos Turbo. This is better versus Warrior, but I just wonder if the Warrior matchup is a foregone conclusion, where if we're just like, okay, like Warrior is probably going to just run over everything we have. Like this can be good, but we need a decent amount of luck to beat Warriors. I will say I was thinking about having a build like this that incorporated goats and meta, but at that point you're just running so many situational cards like Relinquished and Blackluster Ritual. I don't think you could ever add more, because this deck has been bricking a lot more than I'd like to have seen it brick. So just some food for thought while I'm playing here. We'll see how I draw, but Tsukiyomi is good with Relinquished. It does reset Manju, since when this is normal summoned or flip summoned you get the effect, so that's pretty good. It does help with Warriors. I guess it can even reset Zambira. I have done that before, and it's actually helped me establish a board. This card, um, yeah, it's really versatile. There are times when it sits in your hand and you don't feel like it's doing anything, but it's it's just, in my opinion, a little bit too good in the current meta, especially with these coming in turbo mains and turbo sides. So Sangan, I shouldn't need to explain that. These more discard fodder, occasionally summoning it and establishing a board with it and getting control just like you would with Thousand Eyes. This um, staple, this staple, and even better in a deck like this, because you can just use it for fodder for Relinquished. So staple, 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 staple. Not staple. This could be cut. I do like it. Um, in a pinch, you can use it on some of your stuff. It's not as good when you're not running flips. It's really not that great against Warrior. It does reset Relinquished, but yeah, I'm not so sure about Book. If there were a card to get cut or moved to the side, it probably would be this. And if you're watching, like definitely if you've experimented with a deck like this or anything just seems like a blaring error, let me know, because I I want to improve this deck, and I feel like I'm on the precipice of that. It just doesn't have like enough oomph. Like I'm just not getting there. Um, Next is card destruction, which I think is another staple in this deck. In fact, I'm 100% sure it's a staple. There are very few cards I would ever say with certainty are a staple, but in a deck like this where there are going to be bricks, you just have to run this. It's not going to do you any favors when you're playing against Turbo, which is a big part of the field, but you can play the card enough in your favor where you're on even footing with like a Turbo discard if you're pitching a bunch of their stuff. So it's good enough, and you're running enough bricks where you just kind of have to run this. Snatch, self-explanatory. These two, um, this may depend on the direction this. Oh crap! I just put a little water. But this probably depends on the direction the deck takes. And if you hear some squeaking, sorry, I'm in a different chair today, but I don't know if it's worth giving up 1,000 life points, because if this deck takes shape of something a little bit more aggressive, namely like cut Zambira, maybe add like beaters, I don't know if we can afford to have this in here, because we might need to be ending the game a little bit sooner rather than later. I just think like the way I'm seeing this deck shape up so far is it's not bad, but when you play against Warrior, you're at a disadvantage. And then when you play against Turbo, the longer the game goes on, unless you're playing against a player that's worse than you, the worse it is for you. So this just extends the game, and this does nothing versus turbo. So you know what? I keep on shitting on Zambira. Let's just make the change. We'll just do it live. We'll put these in the side. If we run into warrior, we'll take it as that comes. This, I'm just unsure exactly what we would cut for. We have enough monsters at this point, and I think we're aggressive enough. I mean, Tsukiyomi, a big reason of this was for warriors. So I guess if we could find like another beater, really, like the idea was just a mind game, like summon everything in attack position. These have already gotten a plus, so you can push at their face, and if they Regeki break it or Saku it or something, you're really not hurting. And you still get to play this shit. So these are on the cutting board, just based on what I'm going for with this deck. I do need some ideas on how to make this a little bit more aggressive if that's the way I'm going to go. So like Book isn't really doing us too much good here. Upstarts are allowing our opponent to live longer. And that might say something about like even like a few main deck Sakus. Like a lot of aggro decks like Warrior and stuff will have Sakus in there. So these three I don't think need any explanation. None of these could ever be cut. I see players cutting things like torrential, and when I hear some justifications for it, like it's more that like they're building a board of stuff, and it's usually in Chaos Turbo stuff, and it's like oh whenever I draw this card, I have a board full of spies and whatever that I'm just not gonna want to blow up, and I run into that situation a lot myself, but the reality of and like they'll follow it up being like I only want to use this card when I'm behind, and I don't like getting behind, and it's like nobody likes to get behind, but that's going to happen to you probably at several points throughout the match unless you just nut draw. And I just don't think this is a card you could ever realistically cut. I see where people are coming from with Chaos Turbo, which is that you are going to wall from time to time. But the other thing is with Chaos Turbo, you're running a discard engine. So the opportunity cost of playing cards that are alive at certain parts in the game and not others is way lower than other decks because they don't have other ways to just get rid of them. That's why I really like Regeki Break and just being able to like pitch stuff with card destruction. You just like can play cards like Solemn Judgment, which are just independently game winning late game, but aren't really good early game, and there's no rule saying, this is the strongest, one of the strongest cards in your deck, but it's not good right now, so just pitch it. The same thing goes for card destruction. Like if you have a setup grave and you have a bunch of chaos stuff, like you can just throw away your card destruction. If you have an established board and you don't really see a situation where they're going to be able to break it, you can just pitch it with, tribe infecting virus or a graceful, or when your opponent duos you. Like those are all totally valid things. So I don't think people are like they might have good what's the way I'm trying to put this? They might have like really good anecdotal reasons or like situational reasons like not to run cards like this, but like theoretically and logically I just think it has to be wrong not to run something that can potentially plus you this hard. Because the worst case scenario with torrential is that it's a brick. The base case is that it goes even and you use it on like a breaker, or if they summon something you just 1-for-1 with it. The best case with something like this is that you go like +2 off of it. And like even good players sometimes have to play into torrential like that hard, or you go +1 off it in like a good case too. Like that's just like I don't think you can afford to forego that high of a potential plus. And the same thing goes with Mirror Force. Like this isn't good versus Turbo, but versus everything else, it just like, and a lot of people say, oh, you don't even have to run it. People will play around it anyway, and it's like they're playing around it because it's so good. So like, why would you not play it? Like, yeah, I get, you know, good players aren't gonna play into it, but there are going to be times in games where good players make an intelligent decision and a calculated risk and say, I have to play into Mirror Force this turn, or else I'm not winning the game. And you're going to have that Mirror Force, and you're going to plus, and you're going to seal them out of the game. You just can't afford to not play cards that can potentially, like, I'm not going to say that these cards can plus 4. I mean, they can, and I have, but that's not like the situations I'm talking about. I'm talking about the everyday plus ones or the everyday one for ones. The downside just too low. Yeah, this can go minus. You can get breakered, but like, it just, the upside's way too high. You just can't forego a card that can plus you as much as this. Like, yeah, these are free pluses that plus every time. Well, not charity, but like these two. Well, actually, not even this. I guess like, if even if you hit like an assailant or a serpent or a thunder dragon, like, it's not a free plus. Like, these are like on equal footing. These are just used more offensively. These are used more defensively and require more planning and have more vulnerabilities because they're traps. But you can't not play them. So I'll get off the soapbox. This is self-explanatory, especially since we're going for something a little bit more aggressive. I elected to play 3 Regeki breaks because this is a breakier build, and I am electing to play 2 Solemn. I am, if you've watched any of my other videos, 100% in the camp that Solemn belongs in Chaos Turbo um, for 99% of builds, or I won't say 99, but the vast majority of builds. I think there just aren't enough good players that are good enough with Solemn at this point, myself included, but I'm taking the route that I have to learn to get good with this card just because it's that good. Like, I just don't think there are enough GOAT format players that are good enough to play Solemn at this point, which is why it's not finding its way into main decks, which is fine. Like, if you're not that, like, that's part of the game. Like, even pro players, like the players that are top 8, like, if you're not good enough to play Solemn, like, knowing thyself is important. Like, if you think you're going to misplay with this and it's going to cost you tournament seats and you just rather play for consistency and not the dub, that's totally fine. You don't have to play Solemn. I just think, like, if you were playing 100% theoretical correct Yu-Gi-Oh, Solemn is an auto include. But very few players in GOAT format are playing at that level, and I'm not even close to that. I won't pretend to be close to that, but you have to aspire to get to that level. And every game that you play with a Solemn, you're getting a lot better than subbing in like a dust shoot or a jog or jar greed, whatever you want to call it. So, side deck. This is the kind of bluff strategy I was talking about, putting in 2 faiths. Um, these might need to make their way into the main deck. Because I don't know. I mean, there's been quite a few games where, I haven't had the gas to really just do something really unfair like Turbo does. You saw what just happened with these boys. This is for burn, and if you're playing in a tournament, it's pretty good for time as well. Gas Turbo, Warrior, burn, anything else that plays floodgates. I'm trying to think. Anything that plays battle traps as well. I mean, especially because I play pretty much ladder. There are a lot of builds that just like randomly run Sakuretsus and non-chainable stuff. So these get slotted in those instances. Dust Shoot, this comes in for really only one matchup, which is Chaos Turbo, and it's just that good. Um, it's kind of weird. I saw a few people posting like points of contention on whether or not this should be played at all. I mean, I think that's a silly debate. This card is insanely good. The big debate, I think, would be whether or not this belongs in the main. And probably what would have to happen is like some combination of cutting books, upstarts, and maybe one break to slot 2 of these into the main. I did just adjust my turbo list, and I actually haven't tested with it at all, but I have um, a trap lineup that's 2 solemn, 2 break, these 3, and then 2 dust shoots. because I do kind of get where people are coming from with dust shooting and having information. Turn one is just really, really good. The problem is there are a lot of decks where it's really not that great against because like Warrior's just gonna set their whole hand and like they don't even need to intentionally play around it, and neither do most decks. Like most decks, like when you compare them to something like Chaos Turbo, they don't get any free pluses. Like Chaos Turbo just has its lunch served on a silver platter in terms of pluses like every single turn. It's just like easy plus, easy plus, easy plus. Like you don't really have to work for your pluses at all. Most decks several turns into the game are going to have like maybe like 3 cards in hand if they're lucky, probably closer to 2 to 1, especially playing up against a deck like this, which does have some free pluses, but nowhere near on the scale of Chaos Turbo. So this card just is in the right situation so good, in the wrong situation and versus the wrong deck is just a total brick. This is going to come in versus things like Warrior or Earth Aggro. Realistically, you could bring this in, and you probably do for like certain cat type stuff, or not cat type stuff, panda stuff. Like the issue is I just don't like I've experimented with siding like one or two in, but they're just gonna trunade your ass anyway. So like I just don't know how good that is. Like they're just gonna trunade, and like you have to hope that you have a solemn to stop the trunade, and then you can accommodate some battle traps. But that's just a very tough deck to play against in the first place because they can kind of get you one of so many ways. Like a resolved jar is just game. A big cat turn is going to do, or a big cat like in subsequent panda turn is going to do, or just a panda like a turn. Like I keep on saying cat and panda interchangeably on accident here, but like a big panda turn is going to do enough damage where you probably can't come back. Like they can just stall you out and burn you little by little with like cheesy ass stuff like Nightmare Wheel or like Chain Energy if you don't have outs to floodgates. Or they can just like once they get a little bit of chip damage in, um, finish off with just like a random injection fairy lily or like their burn cards. So there's just a lot of ways to get you, if you will, with that deck. So that's in my some of my other videos kind of why I'm trying to learn it, so I can kind of learn where it bricks and like how to play against it and how people are beating me, which I think is pretty important. Like if you just play one deck, you don't know, you might know how to like play your deck well, but that really is 50% of the battle. You have to know how to play against someone else's deck well too. And I think that's much better served by learning the deck itself and how you're losing when you play something like RGT or Cat or Panda Burn. Or I haven't really delved too deep into the combo decks. Like I really don't feel like playing like like library and stuff. But like empty jar, I just don't think I'm gonna touch that. I just don't think I'd enjoy it. But I've noticed that since I played, several dozen games with RGT, that when I play against that deck, like I'm just doing so much better because like it seems really obvious like when I say it, but the amount of games I lost when I was playing RGT where my opponent just stuck a Kaiku and was able to protect it, and like they just attack through goats and stuff, like is just so high. And like you just see Kaiku and you're like, it's probably not like, and like knowing what to banish and what not to banish versus Reasoning Gate. Like you don't want to banish anything that they can bring back with Defusion, but you do want to banish dead chaos in their grave and stuff. Like seemingly obvious stuff like that, like just adds up so much in a glass cannon strategy like Reasoning Gate. So um, I'm just trying to learn as many decks as possible and seeing how I lose. Um, and that goes to another point, which is that I don't really play to get high on the ladder with Dueling Book. If I really wanted to climb ladder, I would probably just play Chaos Turbo all day and maybe some Warrior, and that's about it. Um, but that's not really what I'm going for. Like I'm trying to get better and if there is a season that I really want to get high on ladder, I can try at that point. But I sit at like 700 or 800. Like I got it 800 a while ago with, well, I guess I'll show you. Like I have a bunch of iterations of, wait, did I scroll past it? Oh yeah. So it was Chaos Warrior Turbo Discard. And as you can see, there were like a bunch of, or no, it was Chaos Warrior Turbo. I haven't played this in a while, but I'll show you what the idea was. It was basically this. Um, it looks all over the place, and that is basically what the deck is. It is designed to be a warrior toolbox. It's trying to utilize the best parts of a discard engine. It's trying to utilize the best parts of what I thought was turbo, which is this and this. I have second thoughts on whether or not that's the best definition of what turbo is, and these. So the idea was to just like narrow down your deck to its most powerful level of individual card and synergy. So you get the warrior toolbox, which searches, which does speed up your deck. These speed up your deck. This speeds up your deck. But this is all I could fit. Um, this isn't the point of the video, but this was a homebrew, and this deck actually did pretty well on ladder for a while because no one knows how to play against it. So I think there's something to be said about the element of surprise, but that's enough on that. I am going to clip this, and then we'll jump right into ladder and see how things go. I I always thought this card was really cool. Submarine Roid, I think it's called. So this hand doesn't look too bad. Really the worst hands with this deck are when you just preemptively draw a bunch of your ritual stuff and not main juice first. Alright, sorry, I had to cough there. Um, hmm, I think we're just setting the book, or a space. That is totally fine. Okay, so hits the Nobleman, which isn't the best. Because I'm worried about, well, basically this being followed up with a Faith and us having no way to deal with it. If he does set something here, we're going to be forced to probably go for something like, I'll show you. So I don't think we can afford to not try to take that. So we're going to duo first, just because we haven't seen Serpent or Thunder Dragon. Um, hmm. So we pitched Nobleman, which is smart. Which is smart. It just kind of pisses me off that it was smart, you know. What I think we have to do is we have to flip this, resummon it, and then just take this, which doesn't feel good. Really doesn't. I just think it's if it is a faith, our ass is toast. Even if it's not a faith, like if it's a spy, that's he'll just wall us. If it's a deco, it plus ones. So we're summoning this in attack just because if he does want to attack, he takes battle damage too. It was a fucking Sangan. Damn it. We got jebaited, dude. So here comes the. Guess what's up next? You guessed it. He's gonna set Magician of Faith. And our ass is going to lose. He set nothing, too. That's frustrating. So here's where Tsukiyomi would be good. Uh, um, did we miss? Yeah, we missed Serpent because we were baby raging. Maybe he'll let us take. Oh, no other action was taken, so I think we can do that. I don't know. Like if somebody's watching this and you hit main phase one and then go back to standby, can you take that back? Because like if the game state hasn't changed, so here's. And sorry, I'm just gonna hit him with the thing because I need to explain something to you guys. I think he was smart and he intentionally bluffed something first, and he's about to get back probably Pot of Greed. If it's duo, we're going to lose anyway. But what I'm going to have to try to do is go for as much damage as possible and then cheese a ring play. So what I'm going to do is attack with this because he'll share battle damage, and then attack with this over whatever it is. And then we're just going to keep this in hand to discourage duo because we're just going to have to somehow push and get 56 in here on this guy. Oh, not all hope is lost. Not all hope is lost. That is scary though, because we did commit an attack. And he can attack into this. What's going to happen now is that we're going to have to ring that shit. Hopefully we can bait out like a storm or something. I I don't know if he'd storm with this on the board though. Vortex. Okay. I'm really not super scared here. Oh shit, what did he get? Was that Tsukiyomi? Oh, yeah, he got Suki. Fuki. Oh yeah, this has to get ringed. So, if he's getting Tsukiyomi, that makes me think even more that that's a Faith. Is he gonna triple bluff us with Faith? And this doesn't seem like Chaos Turbo. This seems more along the lines of Lightning Vortex. I mean, it's obviously some sort of Goat Control or Chaos Control deck. It's probably Chaos Control and not Goat Control, just based on what I'm seeing so far. But Lightning Vortex in the main. So I highly doubt there's a situation where he said Tsukiyomi here. What he's trying to do is be greedy. Yeah, and I won't even say greedy. It's probably just the right play to just set Magician of Faith and then, you know, wombo combo my ass with Magician of Faith, Tsukiyomi, and Trinity. Yeah, that's so we're just gonna have to make the read. Like it was, dude. Why are you setting that? Like I'm just. What was the point? And why are you summoning that now? Okay, I really need some input from you guys. Like, is this guy smart, or is this guy just like making weird ass plays that are causing me to be like off kilter that don't make any sense? Was he hoping that I would? Was he looking to maybe not show DD Worry Lady and then like banish Sinister or something? I mean, we're still really not in a good spot, to be honest. He's live still. We aren't. We, at this point, don't lose to. I'm gonna just bluff Grave. Like, oh, I'm looking at my Grave. Yeah, I'm really not sure why this dude just like turbo setting everything. Okay. Whoa. Another tab just pulled up on my computer. And it gets laggy when I try to record these live, so my apologies. Like, dueling crook is pretty obnoxious at times. So this is a very, very bad draw. Because now every Manju in our deck is dead. And the even worse news is we got two of them. So we have to put this guy in a clock. So I'm not going to summon this in attack mode because that's a death sentence. And that's, well, that is a 2-turn clock. That is a 2-turn clock. This is a 3-turn clock. I don't think that's ever an appropriate play though. So, okay. Yeah, this is really not looking too good. I mean, he probably is gonna meta something or that's fine. That's kind of scary though, right? Why would he do that now? I mean, this is the only play, which is set torrential. Um, we're not flipping this. One, because he can attack over it and deal damage. We're low. The second being, we might want to flip this and then activate our own. We got to think on that. That's fine. It's not a big deal at all. No lights. His spell and trap removal is just heavy and breaker at this point. Breaker would be really good for him to summon. If he, I think it's just set again. If he summons something, obviously torrential. Yeah. All right. So this actually looks pretty good here. Because we're going to be able to shut off his chaos, which is probably how we lose. The alternative being some sort of like goat meta play. But, I mean, at this point, being able to shut off chaos is really, really good. So what to banish? So he's got one dark, so that's obviously going. Because that's going to be harder to get in the graveyard anyway, if there is something like Thunder Dragons. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. That makes no fucking sense. The other thing is premature burial. So, how do we lose if he primas this and has removal for Kaiku somehow? Really, if he just primas this, it attacks over, so that's bad too. There's something to be said about Abyss Soldier plus Serpent, but he hasn't shown Serpent, so I don't think that's worth worrying about. Last thing on the docket is whether or not we're bluffing anything, which I think with Snatch Steal, like the chances of him winning next turn are very low. the chances of him having something to attack over this, I think, are reasonable. And having Snatch to take that and attack for game is fine. So I think we just have to play around like heavy big beater. So that's how we lose. Because big beater, like this doesn't accomplish anything is kind of what I'm getting at. All right, so that is a good draw. We are Chaos Live. He isn't. Oh my god, this lag is just otherworldly. Man. Yeah, we're just going for a game. I don't think there's any world where we're not. I mean, what could that possibly be? What could that possibly be? We want to attack with this, so he has to kill this if it's like Knight Assailant, because this is better on board than this. At least at this point in the game, it is, in my opinion. Um, also that. Also that. Wait. Did we know about that Suki? I think we did, and we just forgot about it. So don't do that, kids. Do not do that. We're also setting Serpent, just for the hell of it. There could be a situation where we want to sack it for a Thunder Dragon or something. Also, if he wants to use back row removal on it, or face down removal on it at this point in the game, just show more of his hand, that's fine. Okay, so it seems like Chaos Turbo slash Goat Control, or not Chaos Turbo, Cast Control slash Goat Control. And I was bullied into taking out Token Thanksgiving from my side deck, um, so here's the really confusing part about this, which is that he was setting a whole lot of shit, but we didn't see one flip monster, did we? We never saw Assailant, we never saw Deco, we never saw Spy, we never saw Magician of Faith. How are we siding against this? Could he be bringing in stuff like Royal Decree? It seems like he's more on beaters. I'm gonna make a judgment call. This is tough. Like, I don't even know if Trap Dust Shoot's good, because all the Serpents were from me. All the Thunder Dragons were from me. I really don't know what the fuck is going on. This doesn't seem very good versus metas. And he's playing some sort of warrior package, it seems like. So this has to come in. This, I don't think, comes in. The back row situation is a little bit sketch, so I don't think it's... I feel like Kaiku won us the game, so it's kind of hard for me emotionally to side those out, but I think with the amount of warriors we saw, he's probably on some sort of mini warrior package. So I'm making a judgment call here. We want to stay defensive. I think Sakus are going to be better. No, it's definitely not Break that's coming out. Are you kidding me? Book, not a chance. Uh, a Nobleman. I think it's a Nobleman. Two Noblemans, actually. We're just going to go for it and say we're going to disrespect his set cards and just say that he's going to be, what we need to worry about is Thousand Eyes. What we need to worry about is Big Beater Warriors. So we're keeping him break Sakus and saying you're not going to set shit. We'll see if we get punished. I mean, he's it seems like he's like addicted to setting. I just don't know if like there's anything that he's setting that we need to worry about. Another thing I kind of want to say is that dude opened like really well, like double Trinity, and we played out of it. Like there are players that will just rage and like, go to the next game. I did like kind of lose my train of thought because I was complaining a little bit. So I'll take uh, some punishment or criticism that way. But all right, let's focus. The lag is a huge distraction, and having to talk over your gameplay is a huge distraction as well. Sometimes does make you double think your plays though, which is good. We are going to blind space here. I don't think there's anything with nothing on board like that could, well, if he's pitching a meta, he probably has another meta, which probably means if he's going to set something, it's goat. So I think it's worth going potentially -1 on space if he activates goat. Let's duo first. No, let's duo first. See if we can get some more hand information. Just pick that one. BLS again. So he was on premature, which makes sense. We saw a warrior package. I think not letting him get Sangan off is better for the potential for this space to go -1 into a um, scapegoat. This isn't gonna feel good, like especially like if he's siding like in decrees. I was gonna say if he's siding in decrees and this isn't a decree and then he flips one on us later, because we went balls to the wall siding in traps this game. So we need to end this game quickly. We need to end this game very quickly. Because if he draws into another decree and we start drawing traps, we're toast. Like we're never winning. No back row. Um okay. Okay. So graceful plus this is really good, but we 110% need to Manju and relinquished and take this and start attacking. So there's a small chance that we actually don't discard the second Thunder Dragon depending on what we draw here. So one of them goes. Tribe is too good to pitch versus. I mean, we're going to need to pitch one other thing. So the one other thing is going to be Thunder Dragon. Now it just really becomes like which of these two we're pitching. I'm leaning towards Tsukiyomi, but I'm going to have to think through it. Where are you, relinquished? So this is kind of interesting. Like this is a showcase of games that we're actually summoning relinquished, and it is being somewhat good. Being able to reset relinquished, I think, is too good. He hasn't shown goats. He would have already set goats if he had them. Um, there is something to be said about getting a dark in the grave, but we don't have chaos anyway, so that might be a little bit too soon to think about that. I don't really see any other reason not to set Saku either. So okay. Um we can't summon this under that. We can attack over this. Next turn we have 32 plus 11, so that is exact game. Yeah, so we win. Unless I fucked up my math, which I don't think I did. So just in case, we're gonna search. Oh, he doesn't want to hit the GGs. I was gonna GG him. Let's make sure that math was right. So 14 plus 18, 32. Yeah, we had exact lethal. So I think we did play that last game pretty well. I don't think there was any. I mean, the questionable stuff was like blind MST. I think we had to though. I think once we saw decrees and like this type of stuff coming in, I think we did make the correct call that I think we did make the correct call that we had to finish the game quickly. The one call that or thing I mentioned, which was just straight up wrong, was when he ditched this for graceful charity. I think that should have told me that he did not have scapegoat. I think what I said was that he has probably another one of these plus scapegoat, which is way, way less likely. So him pitching meta is like a very huge tell that there's no scapegoat at this point in the game. So that was pretty dumb in retrospect to make that call. It didn't matter, but um, you have to not like just focus on the result of everything all the time. Like the result was fine, but our line of thinking was definitely wrong. In terms of plays, like this game being fresher than the last game, I don't think we did anything wrong. I'm trying to think like if there were any like very open to interpretation plays last game. Like this game, I don't think there was literally. I'm trying to think if there was any merit to like the different discard target. Could we have discarded Suki and not Tribe? I don't think so. I do not think so. Because really, what basically happens in this type of situation is if he like has like some sort of back row, because we haven't seen Mirror Force or anything yet, this goes to defense position, and the likelihood of this being destroyed by a card effect goes down a lot after we've seen stuff like Royal Decree. Like he's not on Regeki breaks or anything like that, so we really only have to worry about stuff like Mirror Force at that point in the game. So what that gives us the ability to do is just start poking with Manju. Yeah, it's not going to allow us to put him on as fast as a clock in that scenario, but keeping that Tsukiyomi in hand and then being able to reset this guy and take whatever he has is just way too good. You know, stuff like Wang Hu is definitely very scary, but um, yeah, like Suki plus Relinquished is just way, way too good. So in terms of like back to the drawing board, I'm really happy with the way this deck drew, like especially because I mean, like there were like game one our opponent drew well, like game two we drew well. So I just don't know if there's really much to take away from it. Like this isn't like the typical game I've played so far. Like there was a lot of card interaction, and I think that has not to shit on Turbo too much, but I think that has a lot to do with me not playing against Turbo. Where the fuck is this deck? It's called Ritual Chaos, right? Yeah. But like Turbo's just so much faster that um, you can lose a lot more easily. So I'm gonna leave with always of course the like, comment, subscribe. In fact, you know what? Reverse psychology. Don't you dare like, don't you dare subscribe, and don't you dare leave a comment. Don't you dare. Stop typing. I see you. Stop typing. Don't you do it. But lastly is uh, open to some suggestions about maybe making this a little bit more aggro-y. I might have to do a little bit of research on like looking at different warrior lists or just more aggressive decks in the format, because I don't think this deck can survive like if you're just normal summoning for your pluses, out plussing Chaos Turbo. So it has to end the game faster than Chaos Turbo, and it has to, I think, just more or less accept the fact that Warrior's going to be difficult. Like this is good versus Warrior, but like they just beat over everything in your deck. Like they're just gonna plus off of attacks. So leave some comments on whether or not like stuff like Saku should find its way into the main. If some of the cuttable cards could be replaced with something a little bit more aggressive, like it kind of comes down to like if there were like another DD Warrior Lady that was like dark or something, like this card would just fit so well into the deck because it's just like summon it. You're never gonna go minus on it. It takes care of problem stuff, and you can play it in face-up attack position, or you can set it and like let something crash into it. It's just so good. Like, same with cards like Breaker. It's like it's just so hard to go minus with this card. Um, so yeah, I really need some ideas. I'm struggling here, guys. Is this a triple Kaiku list? Might be good versus Turbo, but like, can we just accept like a 30% win rate versus Warrior? Like, do we just optimize versus Turbo? And like even versus Turbo, are like we really that favored? They're just gonna wall us with Spy. So yeah, it seems like the meta is pretty partitioned on like what the game plan is, and anything that falls in between aggro, which is Warrior, and deep like plus control, which is Chaos Turbo, is having a real difficult time here. I uh I don't know why it's even called Chaos Turbo. Like I think it's just because some of the early iterations had Jar of Greed, but it is not a fast deck at all. It plays very passively and reactively, and then lo and behold, you just randomly get your face ripped off once you're low enough on cards, and they start dropping Sorks on your ass. They start moving their spies and decoys to attack position, and you're just getting your shit pushed in quite quickly. It's it's not a turbo deck though. That takes a long time to get going. Like they're gonna plus off Serpent like 7 times. Like by the time they kill you, they're gonna have tried to recycle Trinity several times. Like they're just, it's very rare from having a lot of experience with that deck that you're just gonna be able to win quickly, especially with other stuff in the meta. Like, are you gonna win quickly against Warrior? Like, yeah, maybe if you like rip their hand with Duo and they have nothing, but they're gonna have a bunch of back row to slow you down. They can wall you with a Warrior, like if they want. Are you really going to end the game quickly against like Chaos Turbo, or no, fucking Chaos Turbo, Chaos Control or Goat Control? No, they're just going to have scapegoats, and you're gonna have to push through that for several turns. Are you going to end the game quickly versus Reasoning Gate Turbo? Well, yeah, or they are. Like they're either going to kill you on turn 2 or you win. So I don't really. Well, maybe turn like 2 to 3 to maybe 4. Um, so it's not really your doing; it's their doing, which is that they're going to blow you out, or you're going to establish something that can lock them out, like a Kaiku. And then Panda Burn. Like, are you really going to end the game quickly against Panda Burn? No. So I just don't even know why it's called Chaos Turbo. At this point, it is not a turbo deck. Um, this deck is faster than turbo, at least the way you win with it, which is that you just have to poke. That also makes me wonder if stuff that you can't just continuously poke with is necessary, like Tsukiyomi. Um, and also whether or not this needs to be more heavy on monsters, because this is discard fodder. This is very likely not going to be able to use or to be used to poke. It's going to deal with like monarchs and warriors and whatever it is. This is a great poker. This is discard fodder. This is probably sitting in the hand for a while before you decide to poke with it. This is discard fodder. So I mean, like let's count it up. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5, like 9.5. Or let's call it 8.5, 9. Like these are all like half pokers. So you only have really 9 beaters. Is that enough for a deck that needs to win faster than Turbo? Hmm. Maybe another Kaiku. Maybe it's triple Kaiku, push it out to 20 monsters. I don't know. Definitely let me know your thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. I never come into these videos with anything structured, so I kind of just go off on whatever is on my mind. Let me know if there's anything on your mind. See you guys later.